Hello, Nick here at the BFI for Doctor Who The Movie Restoration. Sadly, I'm the only one here because I was the only one to get tickets. Long story, but very annoying because I actually wanted it to be a group event, including many Universal members and some other people. One person of that group is coming separately. That's Emily Jane Tannis, by the way. She's coming. The other person was Ollie Pajak that I hoped to come, but he couldn't. And then Matt, Jean, Will, maybe Jerry, who actually got a BFI membership to come to this, and also Farron's. Sadly, it's just me in the end, although some of the others will be Matt, Jean, Will, Jerry, and also Ollie may come down late. Ollie Everett, not Ollie P. Will come down to BFI later, but it's just me getting to see the film today of our what would have been a group, and Emily getting a ticket from somebody else. So great for her, by the way. She's a great person. Met her at the Cambridge event last month. But yes, it is a shame. It is just, aside from her, but not in the group, they'll probably be sitting somewhere else. So aside from that, it is just me today. So I'll be trying to bring you some stuff from the event as best as I can. Maybe I'll get the others on camera when they pop down to visit and have a talk. Talk TV movie, maybe we'll do a bit of that later, even though I'm the only one watching the new restoration. But yeah, looking forward to the new restoration. It's going to be the full 89-minute version instead of the 86 sped up version. 4K restored, sound restored. Hopefully it should sound and look better than ever. And then the new release coming soon. I have asked for the Steelbook as a late birthday present. And then I'll be out, my birthday, today is the 17th, my birthday's the 21st, the Blu-ray and 4K are coming out on the 25th, so it will probably arrive 25th or later, unless I end up getting, because some of the stuff I've ordered, some people in the past, some people have gotten stuff like a few days in advance, like maybe the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, instead of the Monday when it comes out, all people going in. So maybe this time, maybe we might be lucky, but yeah, it's more likely to be Tuesday or Wednesday if it doesn't come on the Monday than Saturday or Sunday. So, oh well, never mind. Something to look forward to anyway. Anyway, so I'm going to go in and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, just gone. It's about 10:31, so yeah, they opened at 10:30 as predicted. I would say completely filled up. There's still some seats vacant, but there are still people coming in. But yeah, absolutely packed. So going into the screen, it was really packed, as mentioned in the video, but unfortunately there was some seats still empty, which means that some people either didn't turn up or missed out, perhaps missed it. But if that means there were seats available, that means people could still have come. So it was fully booked, but at the time, people still could have come. Yeah, people could have maybe double-checked there were still seats available, or even turned up on the day to see if they can get a ticket at the desk. But yeah, like Jerry the Meerkat could have perhaps gotten himself a ticket, but was unable to. Alas. Anyway, so Dick and Justin came out as per usual. The event started around nearer to 11 in the morning as opposed to 11, which would be fine because that's to be expected of these, but before the TV movie started, there was a lot. They did quite a bit of stuff before, even doing their quiz and prize giveaway. They had quite a few people turn up and talk to on the stage, which is fine. If it wasn't for that, we were waiting nearly half an hour to watch the movie. Probably because they couldn't have anything in the middle, like when they do like 4 episodes, they'll split between episodes 1 and 2, and then after they'll show episodes 1 and 2 and then split and then have 3 and 4. And if it's a 6-parter, maybe then another split, and then 5 and 6. Anyway, one of the people they brought on was Al from Character Options, who revealed the new Nightmare in Silver Cybermen set with part of the Abominable Snowman figure that the next 5 sets will be collect and build, as well as also an 8th Doctor Dalek figure signed by Paul McGann as prizes for the quiz or for shout-outs. Because I had a tweet read out, I'm going to mention this in the video later, I got my tweet read out, but I went to the loo whilst it happened. I was originally going to be given a Cyberman set as a prize, but when I went down to check with the guys at the end of the screening, and I didn't get a Cyberman set. I got something else, and something I already had, you'll see later. But it was very kind of them to give me whatever they had left over anyway, so that was real nice. Also brought out by people from the Doctor Who shop, I believe, was some who were also doing a stall of stuff they were selling. I got this Yeti Toso book, which includes a signed postcard, which would have been £20 on its own, but free with the book, and then some Paul McGann 8th Doctor close postcards and a 7th Doctor keyring. So I got those after the signings, by the way. But the guy from the Doctor Who shop, I believe, or somebody else, had the 8th Doctor, 7th Doctor, and first 15th Doctor comics as prizes, and also showed off the second 15th Doctor one that's also coming out next month, and then the Cybermen set should be July. I've got the 7th Doctor one, I haven't got the 8th Doctor one. It was a bit disappointing I couldn't get that as a prize. I think that, or a spare, there was a spare copy of that. They weren't selling that at the store, so that was a shame. I'll get it some other time. And then somebody else, I can't remember his name, but he was one of the organisers or people contributing to the Doctor Who art exhibition at the Western Supermare Museum, which I wanted to go to, but we wasn't able to when the exhibition was on. But you can watch Alex Patterson's video or videos about it on the Doctor Who Guide YouTube channel as part of his trip to the UK series during November 2023. He went there during November 2023, and then end of 24 into 25 he released the videos about it. So go and check out the Doctor Who Guide, and that is definitely a channel recommendation. But the guy, I can't remember his name, I do apologise, showed us prints of the TV movie novelisation, the Target edition from 2021, the art cover for Time War 4, the 8th Doctor Time War 4, and the full cover picture for 2 8th Doctor audios from 2022. I can't remember the titles of the stories. Me and Editing will put the text in now, but it was 2 box sets from 2022, I believe, featuring Liv and Helen, with the Weeping Angels in the first and the Daleks in the second. Then it was an interview with Reese Pontriff and talking about her new book, this book, which is about the 8th Doctor's expanded media stories as of May 2026. I'm not sure if that does include the 8th Doctor Time War volume 8. Okay, so it does include the 8th Doctor Time War Uncharted 3 branches released in May 2026. So that one would be the most recent 8th Doctor story. Knowing that was coming out around the same time, it's up to that. So yeah, I got that from Reese at when I went to see her, which you'll see later in the video. And then they did the tweets. I popped out to the loo. And also, whilst I had popped out to the loo, I met Harborough Holmes, who also had popped out to the loo at that time, and we had a quick, tiny little chat outside. Then they also talked to one of the guys with the props, who was showing off the props at the autograph desks as well, and he was talking to everyone and showing them off both in the screen and also being shown off on this table near to the autographs. And then they played a message from Matthew Jacobs, who couldn't be here, and also mentioned Sylvester McCoy couldn't be here, but Matthew Jacobs sent in a video message before we watched the restoration of the movie. After the screening, we got the guys involved in the restoration of the movie, and talked about bringing the film reels from America over to the UK, restoring them and everything, and also Mark Ayres, of course, restoring the audios. He's the only one I remember the name of, sorry. Also, based Mark Ayers, he says that some people don't count the TV movie as Doctor Who, that they don't think it is, and he says it bloody well is. So, based Mark Ayers. There was a bit of talk about the restoration, but it was interesting to hear about it, and pretty cool to hear about everybody talking about it. It was also here that we heard that there have been several versions of the restored version of the TV movie, which I'm going to mention later as well, but including a special one for this screening because the screen couldn't show the proper 4K one, and also one for a possible TV rebroadcast should it be able to air on telly. But the main version is, of course, the one which will be included on the 4K Blu-ray and the standard Blu-ray. After that, we got a screening of The Night of the Doctor as well, which was cool to see on the big screen. And then it was the Q&A with director Jeffrey Sachs, director of the TV movie, and Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor himself. And yeah, there was a bit of a Q&A with Dick and Justin, with Paul and Jeffrey, including some AI-generated questions that there's something they had tried out with Warriors of the Deep Q&A, and they tried out here. I shall show the video momentarily, but suffice to say, Paul, Bailey and Jeffrey perhaps humorously asked, you sure those questions are AI generated? Like, because there's questions that you could arguably say an actual person might actually ask. To be honest, they did sound strange, but to Paul and Jeffrey, even if maybe humorously, even if just being humorous, they could still technically be questions someone who's just maybe being very technical would ask.
I think once we got to Canada and started work on it, and the fact that my agent was Janet Fielding, and we never had that conversation. Janet, I'd watched it in the 80s, so I kind of twigged that Janet had been an actor. She was just my agent. But so we started talking, and she said, "Look, this ain't going to be like the other jobs. It's just not going to be like we'll still be talking about this in 30 years' time." It computes. It didn't make any sense. It makes sense now, but and as the first couple of weeks, when she was there, she came out, didn't she? Initially, right, yeah. McCoy was there, and it began to dawn on me then,
I get a sense sometimes with some of the guests that we've had from Doctor Who and other sort of shows and films where they're a successful actor, they move into a role that is huge, might be a Star Wars role, or a big piece that's got a kind of global impact, if you like, and they then sort of, after doing a role like that, they kind of fight it for a bit because they want to make sure they're re-established. I've never felt that from you. I've always felt that because your career hasn't, I think, been hindered by being Doctor Who. You continue to work from strength to strength. I don't feel that resistance.
I'm trying to think of somebody. I mean, who's a good example? Is there anyone who's played the Doctor that you would say has suffered for it or been hindered by it? Or?
There's a lot of related roles, though, I would say, that who may argue that their acting career was sort of hindered by being in a particular role.
I mean, that's the kind of normal run of being working as an actor. I mean, even to the extent that you're filling some, you're replacing somebody or trying to fill some big shoes or play a role that other people have played. Again, we do that anyway. You do that in classical theatre or anything else. So that was kind of normal. But that was the only normal thing about it. But it was really odd. It was odd to come into, and of course it had been gone for 4 or 5 years. So it was a strange one. It was a strange gig for all of us, wasn't it? Really. And the stakes were quite high. It felt like, wow, if this takes off, I think that was more a concern. Our children were babies. We'd go and live there. With prospectively looking at 6 weeks, 6 years. Well, my kids would be Canadians. When we were there, they showed
all been so completely.
Life would have been different. So so you're thinking of this as well. So there's all kinds of considerations.
At the last Doctor Who event we did, we thought it might be fun, although we did get a boo or two from the audience, when we decided to ask AI for a couple of questions. We were doing an event with Paul McGann and Jeffrey Sachs at the BFI.
Did you write some down?
Can you suggest a couple of questions? I'm going to tell you one for each of you. You don't have to answer necessarily, but it's fun to tell you what I thought we could to ask you. So Paul, here's one question for you. The script introduces an ontological shift by suggesting the doctor is half human on his mother's side. Academics often debate whether this was a narrative miscalculation or a brilliant subversion to make the character more empathetic to US audiences. How did you conceptualise the Doctor's alienness?
How did I conceptualise what?
The Doctor's alienness versus his humanity when playing those specific scenes?
That's an AI question.
Oh, you don't need to answer that. But Jeff, I'm going to give you one for you now as well. Jeff, in film studies, the way a director uses urban space can completely change the tone of a piece. You had to use the industrial, vertical, rain-slicked geometry of Vancouver to double as the hilly, sunny, culturally specific landscape of San Francisco. How did this geographical dislocation after the visual text? And did the gritty Canadian architecture inadvertently pull the film closer to a neo-noir aesthetic?
This is a person, you just give him a dig, don't you? You've already gone before the finish.
That would have done so far, I think. Yeah, I was going to say.
I think I want to go onto AI to find an answer.
Yeah, just like leave them to it.
What I do want to know is about the recording of the voice of the Dalek. Well, I know you trawl through a lot of actors, and you work very hard to try and find a successful artist.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, people probably know it was me. What happened was, when you go into the sound mix, and some people and so you basically have, if there's any voices off, like for example, when you hear a station announcement, the train to so and so and so, the train to Russia or whatever it is, that's all done by people with the loop group. So they were thinking, well, they bring the loop group in to do the Dalek voice. I never thought about this at the time. It's granted we'd have a Dalek one. And then when I got to the sound mix, they played it, and they played it opening. I thought, this sounds fantastic. And the voice came in and said, exterminate, exterminate. Very polite Canadian voice, and I had to say, well, no, that's not it. And they kind of looked at me, well, what is a Dalek? Because they didn't know. So I had to kind of do a sort of vibrato with my voice and try and do a very bad Dalek.
That's how you can still do now.
No. and eventually, because nowadays what you do is you just go online and get it straight from the BBC. Then there was none of that. The internet was only just in its infancy. So I had to then I said, well, I'll go in and try and do a Dalek-y voice. And then I came back out and said, no, you could add a bit more, about that. And eventually we got to something. And some people think it's absolutely terrible. I don't know, I thought it was pretty good, really. Yeah, so that's how that's
going to dial.
Yeah, that's my sort of Hitchcock moment. This is the Dalek.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and I also did the chicken squawk, I think. When there's the upturned truck. What I wanted at the time was like this bit of Crash with a circus. So I went to production. I said, we need a few lines because I thought we'd get so much money. A few lines, a few tigers rolling around, a couple of gorillas, and they said no. So then we said, well, let's just have a few chickens. So
That was you.
So the close shot of the chicken was me. Yeah.
What you rehearsed for us.
Yeah, I took about 7 or 8 takes together. I did more takes than you did. 2 takes an hour. Move on. Yeah. That's what we had time for, isn't it? You're like, can I go again? And I said, is it in focus? Yeah. No, you can't.
Back in 2013, Paul, when you were last with us, you at that point, because it was in the autumn, would have already shot The Night of the Doctor that we just played a moment ago, I think, or you certainly would have been around that time, because I think it was October when we had the event, so it was very, very close. But you kept completely quiet about it, which I guess exports time about 3 million NDAs, but was it difficult keeping that secret? Because people were asking who's going to be in the 50th, what's going to happen.
If keeping a secret means simply not saying something.
But people were asking you, weren't they?
That's different. It's a keeping it, like, it was threatening to leak because some other people couldn't keep the secret, but they had it on hard drives, and there was technical. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
Yeah.
If they've already got to do is not say anything. That's easy. That's the easy thing.
But when people were asking, did you have a sort of stock answer for them?
Well, they wouldn't ask me about it. No. Oh, you mean before?
Yeah, before it was on. But people were saying, "Are you coming back to the 50th?" That's the mentality.
Oh, that? No, I just lied.
you're an actor.
But when we were doing the Five-ish Doctors thing, because Stephen Moffat had just called me then, and he said, "Don't tell the others, you can't tell them." So we shot that thing, and that was that was the whole point, wasn't it? Who's got the gig and the gig at Tom Baker?
But they didn't know.
They didn't know. I couldn't tell them.
We've got time for some questions from the audience.
It was a bit of a hoo-ha on Twitter a little bit later. Someone did complain on Twitter. Oh, they did AI question thing again. And I think someone, if it wasn't them, it was somebody else saying, oh, if they can't come up with their own questions, then don't bother. Actually, I think that was one of the people in Discord, in the Universal's Discord server. And I said, actually, they did. This is just like, it's not. This is not where they get all these questions from. The AI ones. This was just something, I'd say, fun. For this screening and Warriors of the Deep, but it's not like they're not getting all their questions from AI. They're actually getting the proper questions from Dick and Justin, and also the people getting to ask questions. Even though because there's a lot of talking with the event hosters and with the guests, then audiences don't really get to ask that many questions. I think they did up to 6 this time, I think, including mine. They do a couple, but they don't do too many, especially if it's a late or running or a long one. So, but yeah, they will talk a lot. The event people will talk quite a bit to the guests coming along, and then maybe there isn't as much time for the audience to ask the questions. You get a couple, basically. But yeah, the AI thing was just something they tried. It's not going to replace all of the questions or discussions. It's just like 1 or 2 things for quote fun unquote. I mean, you can decide if it's like if they should do it or not. Maybe Justin, Dick, if you next BFI event, Doctor Who BFI event, or the Blake 7, whatever comes first. I would say don't bother doing it this time round, because even though there's not been awful questions yet, and you know, depends on who you are with the morality and stuff. I think because it's quite controversial, even just attempting to do it, even if it's fairly harmless at this stage, I say just stick to doing it the old-fashioned way. Especially since the AI questions weren't even that much. They weren't even that great anyhow. To be honest, I don't even remember Warriors of the Deep's ones. I can barely remember the TV movie ones. It's like 5 days later. I don't think I was able to remember them 5 seconds later, actually. Then again, I can't remember the human ones either, so, apart from mine, of course, because I'd asked it. So, yeah, but I would say maybe just don't bother with AI ones going forward. It's not worth it. And if you're going to get people complaining about it on Twitter, complaining now, whinging and crying and bitch-whying later. So yeah, let's not even go there. Let's just stick to the old-fashioned method. The old-fashioned way is better, anyhow. Yeah, it was a decent attempt, but maybe we should just leave it with these two, and just move on. And that goes for the audience as well. I don't know what you're like. So with the audience questions, there was a couple questions answered, including mine. I went second, and and I'm going to mention this again later, I asked about the setting with the abandoned ward. I won't going to talk about it here because I recorded a bit on Sunday after getting home, so I'll leave that for later. And then the main event finished. I went to try and talk to Dick about the tweet prize thing, and then it was time for the queue. Could be a while for the signing. So, funnily enough, they actually did read one of my tweets this time, although I actually went to the loo for it. Specifically my first tweet, I did 2. One about my birthday, and so they gave me a prize, I guess, as a gift. Coming up, it's Doctor Who Once Upon a Time Lord, where Christopher Jones artwork cover. Not only have I already got this, but I've got the red cover with Martha and the Doctor as well. I got that one first, funny enough. And I did a video on this on Universal last month. So that's a funny thing, but it was great to get the prize anyway, so I guess I'll hold on to both, or maybe I'll give the original one away. Not sure how I'll distinguish them. Maybe I can write something in this one to say this is from Justin, who kindly gave it to me when I went to see him. I think it was the last thing they had left, so that makes sense. Sherman can get Operation Volcano with the 8th Doctor, as I haven't got that one yet, or an 8th Doctor early item, but it's still great to get it, even though I've got one already. But still, very nice of them, and thank you very much, Justin, for coming to see. Well, I came to see you and waiting for me to come out, and for grabbing this, and they're being very kind. Thank you very much. So yeah, we were in that queue for about nearly 2 hours, I would say, because I think the event finished around 20 past 2 p.m, and I think I got into it around 4:30 or so, and we were queuing it into about 10, quarter, 20 past 4, so it must have been nearly 2 hours. But it was worth it, because I got to meet Paul McGann, who signed my copy of the TV movie DVD, as well as a print, and got some pictures with him. But as well as those, he was also doing video messages, paid video messages for £30. And so I paid for one, and filmed this little video with him. Check it out. And action.
What a professional. Hello, Universals and viewers. Paul McGann here. Hope you're having a lovely day.
Thank you very much, Paul McGann, for doing that. And he called me a professional. Based Paul McGann. We love you, Paul. Hashtag McGann Gang, as Barbara Holmes said in his TV movie Defending the Despised video. Then I got to see Reese and got her book and got that signed. And then Jeffrey Sachs. I actually went to Jeffrey's table before Reese's, but he wasn't really there at the time. So I paid for the signings that I would get from him, print and DVD and for photos, and then went to Reese first for her book signing and some pictures, and then back to Jeffrey for the signings and pictures there, but paid for them already. And then it was looking at the props and costumes at the table next to them, all of which 7th and 8th Doctor related, most of which featuring in the TV movie.
Deep cut into my soon I'm waiting to post my pictures from Rome where I can't be to mention in the book because I love it. So you did? Jackson Rains was very
American bank account. They kept trying to charge tax and things. I'm going to have to find a new way of putting a light in that as well, though.
It's supposed to be mirrors, isn't it?
What have you got?
I even got a couple pictures next to the 8th Doctor costume from the TV movie. I actually had several pictures because my eyes kept going everywhere. Whoopsie. So, met Paul McGann and Jeffrey Sachs, and also Reese Pontiff, who made this book about the 8th Doctor's appearance in expanded media up to the present. So this, I think this has been published since 2026. It's about nowish, and she kind of signs the copy that I purchased. I met her third. I met Paul McGann first, and then Jeffrey Sachs, and then I went to look at the props table and costume, and got those bits of footage and pictures. So Paul and Jeffrey both signed my Doctor Who the Movie Special Edition DVD. Jeffrey Sachs didn't have any prints, but he signed a postcard and a nice kind of brown autograph pen colour. Reese had black and Paul McGann was silver. And here we go. And interestingly, this picture is actually a Radio Times cover, and from the 1996 TV movie. And I've gotten a print of that, and I got at one of the conventions. I think one of the 2024 ones, maybe in the second or third one I went to spring or summer 2024. So can only go so far back. There we go. So some comparisons there. That's absolutely brilliant. So this vlog is now come to an end, bar one more anecdote that I would like to add, if it doesn't fall down. Okay, so one other thing is, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the vlog, but as well as the tweet being read out that I missed, because I went to the loo, but I wanted to go before the movie started, Even though it did go before the event started, but we were waiting around a while. But yes, anyway, whilst later on during the Q&A, I actually did ask a question for Jeffrey Sachs about the scene where Paul McGann, the Eighth Doctor, goes on his knees and shouts, "Who am I?" I wondered whether that was intentionally a abandoned ward, hospital ward or something, and he basically confirmed that it was a disused ward, and they were able to use. They did that in place. The scene was originally going to go set on a rooftop. They ended up going to a disused ward, and the Doctor ended up finding it whilst in his having just regenerated and in his state at the time and his amnesia, and trying to find wandering around, and he ends up in the abandoned ward, and that's why they have all the mirrors, and he sees his reflection before kneeling down. So yeah, always wondered about that scene. And yeah, it was supposed to be a disused ward, according to director Jeffrey Sachs, for that scene. So yeah, thank you very much, Jeffrey Sachs, for answering that question. Anyway, so that's it from this vlog then. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you next time. Happy 30th anniversary to Doctor Who the movie, and hopefully at the time this going out, it might even be, depending on the date, it might even be the 30th anniversary itself, or at the very least after the 25th, when the new 4K restoration is available on Blu-ray and 4K. Apparently, the version that there were several versions of it sorted, and the version we got, was a special exclusive one because the screen can't show Ultra HD content, so it was slightly modified to be shown on the screen one, NFT one at the BFI, compared to the one on the 4K and the Blu-ray, and also another one for a possible TV broadcast in the future. Fingers crossed, maybe next time the TV movies broadcast on the BBC, maybe not so much repeats on other channels. They may honestly stick to the edited TV version, which will not be included on the Blu-ray or 4K. It's going to be the original UK and original US ones alongside the restored version. They're not going to have the cut version, but the cut version is on iPlayer, I believe, so it is still knocking about. But yeah, if they ever decide to do a Doctor Who night again and show the full uncut version of the movie like that night did 2 years ahead of the DVD release, then that's the version that they will get to show, will be the new 4K version available to be shown on telly. Failing that, maybe some more screenings elsewhere, or maybe the version that they had today might get screens, depending on what can show 4K content. If you attended this event, please comment down below if you had a good time, and if the new Blu-ray 4K is out by now, do comment down below your opinions on it. One last piece before we go. It is Tuesday the 26th of May 2026. Time of recording, it is 1:51 PM, and early this morning my copy of the Doctor Who the TV movie Steelbook arrived. Well, I didn't pay for it. It is a late birthday present, as I've mentioned, but the surname's still the same, but there shouldn't be any other details on that sticker. But yes, this is technically not an unboxing segment because we did that earlier. But it's more like a taking off the wrapping and looking inside sort of deal. So this is sort of a bonus segment to the rest of the vlog, which should otherwise be done. So let us, I would say let us take off the plastic and destroy the collector's value forever, as Mr. TARDIS would say, but I've accidentally already started. So yeah, let's take a quick look at this Steelbook. Somewhat an unboxing, but more, or at least an unwrapping. But yeah, there we go. The picture art is beautiful. It is amazing. I've loved how they've done the Master with the broken glass with the Doctor's face. The Master looks closer as well in that shard. It looks closer. Interestingly, it's just that piece of the glass that's the Master rather than any other bits, and the rest of it is the Doctor. And you still get the TARDIS in the background. Either way, it looks really cool. We'll take off the back in a moment, but there's the rest of the cast there with the Master properly on the Other side of the 7th Doctor, you've got Grace, Chang, and that's the Old Master in the middle. I suppose that follows on from the collection edition Blu-rays of having the main Doctor on the front and the other Doctor on the back, but you've also got the other characters on here as well. Making its 30th anniversary, for the first time, Doctor Who the movie has been newly restored. Sorry for outdoor noise. All the windows are open because it is, well, really hot. Anyway, restored from the original 35mm film elements, bringing this beloved adventure back to life like never before. Beloved is a little bit of a is a word I wouldn't have described to use on this film, but over the last couple of years, last few decade or two, it's gotten a bit of a better reputation, a bit more positive response from the fan base over the last, when it came out, it was very unpopular, especially with the American audiences, but as time has gone on, especially in the last 10 to 15 years, it has gotten a much better reception. Probably because I saw this for the first time 15 and a bit years ago, recorded from Watch, as I've mentioned in the video. I think I've mentioned it in the video at least. I've mentioned it in a recent video on my channel actually. Anyway, the Doctor is returning home to Gallifrey with the remains of his arch-nemesis, the Master. Forced off course, the TARDIS arrives in San Francisco on New Year's Eve 1999, where the Doctor is critically wounded in a gangland gun battle. At the local hospital, Dr. Grace Holloway fights and fails to save his life. Later in the morgue, the Doctor wakes up as a new man, but he's not the only one. The Master has also found himself a new body. As the clock counts down to the start of the new millennium, can the Doctor stop his oldest enemy from destroying all life on Earth? I think that's the same description from the 2 DVDs and the Blu-ray. I could be wrong. I think it's the same one from those. Includes bonus features, but not going to tell us what it is on this back. Starring Paul McGann, Eric Roberts, Daphne Ashbrook, Sylvester McCoy, Yeti Toso, John Levac, and Michael David Sims. I'm not sure what characters they are. I think one of them might be the other Doctor in the surgery room, and the other could be like the hospital director guy, but I'm not entirely sure. Executive producers Alex Beaton, executive producer Philip David Siegel, executive produced by Peter V. Ware, written by Matthew Jacobs, directed by Jeffrey Sachs. And then some trademarks there, and this work contains flash images which may affect viewers who are susceptible to epilepsy. Whoops. And then it's got the disc format for the Ultra HD Blu-ray disc, for the main Blu-ray disc, and for special features. I'm surprised it doesn't have this story features the products of the like it made in the 1990s and therefore is a product of the time. But to be honest, apart from some minor racism that at the time was seen as not very good, and it's addressed, but in that there's not really much to that really is of the time. So it's a 90s thing rather than 60s, 70s, 80s. So yeah, I suppose that's one that doesn't have to have this product features attitude of the time as it was made in the 90s. But to be on the safe side, this product was made in 1996, so does feature some attitudes of the time, even if some of that is addressed. Okay, and there's the slip. And then there's the full art cover. All looks absolutely lovely. I love the inclusion of the fob watch in this one. And there's the back. Absolutely amazing. 7th Doctor, the Master, the Old Master, Chang, Grace, and a bit of lightning, I guess, or time vortex. And opening up, it looks awesome. I know there's a booklet in here. There's the booklet. Look at that in a minute. No other products from Doctor Who booklet in this one. This disc 1 contains the movie on 4K, on the 4K Ultra HD disc. Disc 2, the Blu-ray, and Disc 3 is the special features Blu-ray. I'm wondering if those same disc cover pictures are used on the standard Blu-ray, or if they change maybe Disc 1 and Disc 2's. On the Blu-ray one, if Disc 1 and Disc 2 of the 4K one are 1 and 2 on the Blu-ray disc, and you lose the 7th Doctor one, and then for this release and the standard 4K you add the 7th Doctor one. Anyway, so there's the inside with the TARDIS travelling down the time vortex. Looks great, absolutely great. And then the film is rated 12. It is the first 12 rated Doctor Who story. Everything from the classic series was a PG or a U. Although, like I said recently, that they have not animated Daleks Master Plan episode 12 or the Massacre episode 4 yet. So, yeah. And that's not talking about special features and stuff like that, like in terms of the actual episode. And then we have the booklet. Ooh, really good picture there. And then special features listed in there. Doctor Who, one 90-minute episode, or Doctor Who the movie, broadcast on the 12th of May 1996 in Canada, the 14th of May 1996 in the United States, and the 27th of May in the 1996 in the UK, written by Matthew Jacobs, produced by Philip Siegel, directed by Jeffrey Sachs. Well, technically, David Siegel is the executive producer. Peter V. Ware is the main producer. En route to Gallifrey, the Doctor is diverted to San Francisco 1999, where his regeneration is triggered and a showdown with his deadliest enemy begins. I'm wondering if this is stuff that's in preparation for a potential Wilderness Years box set, because this does, now looking at it, it does start to sort of look more like the when I opened it, I thought it was more akin to the animations, Steelbooks and Blu-ray and DVD booklets. But looking at it now, it feels more like the collection edition ones. So main feature is Doctor Who Uncensored UK version 4K, Doctor Who US broadcast version 4K, audio commentary, one with director Jeffrey Sachs. Audio commentary 2 is with Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor, and Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor. Dolby Atmos 5.1 and stereo audio, isolated music, and infotext. For Blu-ray release, the 4K restored versions are presented in HD, not 4K. On this, 2 special features: making of documentary, in conversation with Jeffrey Sachs, when Janet met Sylvester, interview featurettes, deleted scenes, alternative takes, alternative opening, clean opening titles, digital FX reel, Paul McGann audition tape, behind the scenes footage, TARDIS tour, 1996 electronic press kit, BBC Trails and Continuity, 2026 announcement trailer, Strict for Action, Tomorrow Night's Times, The Wilderness Years, The Doctor Strange Love, DVD Easter egg, and bonus music tracks. Most of these, I believe, are from, only some of these are from the DVD, some of these are brand new. I think the In Conversation one, when Janet met Sylvester, those are new. Possibly the alternative opening as well. Paul McGann audition tape is definitely from, I think at the very least the original DVD, and definitely the 2010 one, as are the electronic press kit, the Trails continuity, the Strict for Action, Tomorrow's Times. The Wilderness Years might be from the Survival DVD, I might be wrong about that. Doctor Strange Love, I think, is from the DVDs. DVD Easter eggs, of course, bonus music tracks, those are from the DVDs. I'm not sure if the making of documentary is new or if that's the 7-year hitch, which definitely is from the special edition DVD and the original Blu-ray. Though the original Blu-ray's special features discs was basically the special edition's disc 2. And then there's information about the making of the film. By the looks of that, I'll give that a proper read later. Some pictures behind the scenes. Okay, so the UK, we got the VHS on Wednesday the 22nd. Whoops. So yeah, and then there's some stuff on the back, some stuff regarding the new release. So yeah, an absolutely brilliant new release, and what a lovely steelbook. The cover pictures for the standard Blu-ray and the 4K, standard 4K and the Blu-ray don't look quite as good. I'll definitely step down from the last pieces of artwork for the previous Blu-ray and the pre-DVD, the special edition DVD before that, but are a step up from the original DVD, of course. And this one, is this the best artwork? Possibly. It's definitely for a steelbook anyway. For a steelbook version, although there were some really good fan-made ones for a steelbook of the Blu-ray, the 2016 Blu-ray. That didn't get a Steelbook release, but at least we got the movie on Steelbook now. It's about time. Forgot to do this in the, well, not unboxing, but unveiling bit. Steelbook, postcard, and doing this all in one hand because I'm using the other to hold the camera. That's the back, by the way. I don't think I've actually shown this off properly. Well, here's a chance. Upside down. Back. Front. There's the booklet. I'm going to try and put it in front of the booklet. Could go behind, so that it's going in there. There we go. It can go inside the Steelbook thing, as can the booklet, but I prefer having them at the back. And I'll tell you why, because when Series 9's one came, when I first got that, like 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago for my 17th birthday in 2016, the Series 9 Fax booklet came at the back, and ever since then, booklets, leaflets and such, I've always put at the back of ones with this type of J-card. Like if it's the slippy through one J-card, then putting them inside, fair enough, or the wrapping around one, like say Doctor Who and the Daleks and Daleks Invasion Earth original Blu-ray Steelbooks were, then yeah, if it's J-card like this but it has a wrap around that, then maybe also inside as well. But for ones exactly like the typical Doctor Who ones, which I think apart from the Dalek movies, both the Blu-ray and the 4K ones, apart from maybe them, I think the 4K ones have the wrappy round ones, and then the but cardboard ones, whilst the Blu-ray ones are wrappy round paper, plasticky ones. But the rest of the Doctor Who ones are like this, and so therefore I put them at the back. But if like the other types, I might put them inside. If they're more space, especially if there's like bits on at the front where you can put them. But typically I will put them in there. Same with other collector's edition sets, like depends on how those are made. But there we go, one postcard and the booklet inside the Steelbook, or rather behind it in the J-card bit. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I hope you enjoyed this Steelbook, not unboxing, but like unwrapping and opening. And thank you very much for watching the vlog, and we will see you guys next time. Goodbye.